Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we have some breaking news that has completely stunned the Philadelphia Eagles fanbase. A.J. Brown, arguably one of the most electric receivers in the NFL, has made comments that are sending shockwaves throughout the NFL community. Fans are still reeling after he openly discussed some issues he has noticed with the team, specifically relating to Jalen Hurts. This is not your typical locker room chatter. These are comments that could have real implications for the dynamics of the Eagles' offense. And today, we're going to break it all down for you. Make sure you stay until the end, because this story is developing fast, and there's a lot to unpack. A.J. Brown has always been a player who speaks with honesty, and that's part of what makes him so respected in the league. His performances on the field speak for themselves. He's explosive, capable of turning any play into a highlight, and has a rare combination of speed, strength, and football intelligence. But off the field, Brown's recent revelations about some tensions with Jalen Hurts and the team's offensive setup have raised eyebrows. He didn't go into explicit detail, but the way he framed his statements suggested that there are underlying issues that could affect team chemistry if not addressed. In recent interviews, Brown hinted that while the team has immense talent and potential, certain areas in the play calling and quarterback-receiver dynamics could use improvement. He emphasized that Jalen Hurts is a phenomenal quarterback with a unique skill set, but that sometimes the system doesn't fully play to the strengths of the receivers. What really caught fans off guard was Brown's candid tone. He didn't sugarcoat his feelings, and it's clear he cares about the team's success, which makes his comments even more impactful. Fans love honesty, but hearing it from someone of Brown's caliber can be both reassuring and worrying at the same time. One thing to keep in mind is that A.J. Brown is not someone who complains for attention. He's a professional who thrives on competition and winning. His comments seem to be motivated by a desire to see the Eagles reach their full potential, not to start drama. He wants the team to succeed, and he's making it clear that certain adjustments could take them from good to great. That said, even constructive criticism from a star player can stir controversy, especially when it involves someone as central to the offense as Jalen Hurts. Fans immediately started debating what Brown's comments mean for the upcoming season and whether they signal any tension behind the scenes. Let's take a closer look at the dynamics between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. On the field, their chemistry has been evident, but there have been moments where miscommunications have led to dropped passes or missed opportunities. Some analysts have pointed out that part of this comes from the way the offense is structured. Jalen Hurts is a dual-threat quarterback who often extends plays with his legs, and while this can create incredible opportunities, it can also put receivers in awkward positions if routes aren't adjusted in real time. Brown's remarks seem to suggest that he feels the offense could be more tailored to maximize his abilities and those of other receivers. Fans quickly took to social media to react, and the responses have been mixed. Some are defending Jalen Hurts, saying that, as the quarterback, he has to make split-second decisions and that no system is perfect. Others are praising Brown for his honesty and transparency, pointing out that open dialogue is necessary for any championship-contending team. What's interesting is that this conversation isn't just about individual players. It's about the broader strategy of the Eagles. How can they balance the strengths of a dual-threat quarterback with the needs of elite receivers? Brown's comments shine a light on this delicate balance, and it's clear that both the coaching staff and players will need to communicate more effectively going forward. From a coaching perspective, the Eagles have always prided themselves on having a versatile offense, but A.J. Brown's comments may encourage a deeper evaluation of how plays are designed. The coaching staff might need to consider whether adjustments can be made to give receivers more space and create more predictable timing patterns with Jalen Hurts. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about refining the system to ensure every player can perform at their peak. If Brown's feedback is taken seriously, it could lead to tactical improvements that make the Eagles even more formidable. Another aspect to consider is the mental side of the game. AJ. Brown is a confident, driven player who thrives when he feels empowered on the field. If he feels that the current setup sometimes limits his potential, that could affect not only his performance, but also team morale. It's important to remember that football is a team sport, and even small frustrations can ripple through a locker room. Fans are understandably concerned because they want to see a harmonious environment, especially after seeing so much potential in this roster. The key will be how leadership responds both from the coaching staff and from team leaders like Jalen Hurts. It's also worth noting that A.J. Brown has a history of being a team-first player. In interviews, he has always emphasized that winning is the priority and individual stats are secondary. That makes his comments all the more significant because they come from a place of care rather than personal grievance. He's essentially saying, we have the talent, but we need to make sure we're all on the same page. The broader implication of Brown's comments is that they may influence roster decisions as well. If the coaching staff feels that certain adjustments are needed, they might explore additional receiving options, tweak formations, or even adjust quarterback play calling. These are the kinds of subtle moves that can have major impacts over a long season. Fans should pay attention not just to what players say in interviews, but to how the team acts on that feedback. Brown's candidness could serve as a catalyst for meaningful change, potentially making the Eagles even more dangerous than before. Another layer to consider is the media coverage surrounding these comments. Headlines can sometimes amplify tension, but it's important to parse the actual statements from speculation. Brown's intention was not to create headlines, it was to highlight areas where the team can improve. Smart fans and analysts will recognize this nuance and look for the constructive elements of his feedback. The narrative doesn't have to be negative. It can be a story of growth and evolution for the Eagles. Finally, looking ahead, this situation could actually strengthen the team. When elite athletes communicate openly and honestly, it sets a standard for accountability and collaboration.